On October 13, 2020, while you were serving as a state judge, you wrote an article for The Atlantic entitled, quote, your words, not mine, "America's judiciary doesn't look like America." And you criticized this committee and President Trump for his judicial nominees. You said, quote, these are your words, not mine. "The judiciary crafted over the past 4 years does not look like America. Not one of these judges is black, and more than 90% were raised or currently identify as Christians." I don't know how you knew that. And then you say, quote, your words, not mine, "Identity is the lens that filters everything and everyone we encounter." End quote. Did I read that correctly?
What you just watched is why so many Americans are frustrated with Washington right now. Senator John Kennedy came into that hearing prepared with quotes, articles, and receipts. Instead of clear answers, he kept getting deflections and "I don't remember" responses. Welcome back to America Wake, I'm Wilson. Today we're breaking down one of the most heated Senate exchanges we've seen in a while. Kennedy wasn't holding back, and honestly, you could tell he believed the American people deserved straight answers from someone seeking a lifetime federal judgeship. No matter where you stand politically, judges are supposed to apply the law fairly and leave personal politics out of it. That's why this hearing got so tense so quickly. We're going to break down the biggest moments, what stood out, and why this exchange is blowing up online right now. Before we jump in, make sure you like the video, subscribe to America Wake, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos. Now let's get into it.
Thank you, Senator Butler. Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Judge Wise, you're not being honest with us, are you?
That is incorrect.
Well, we all may be poorer under President Biden, but we're not stupid. We have a long list of your articles and your opinions and your political statements. On March 8, 2017, you wrote an article for Time magazine while you were a sitting judge. It's entitled, "Judge, Gender Laws Are at Odds with Science." I'm going to quote your words. "When legislators blur the lines of church and state and enact laws that permit or prohibit conduct based on biological gender as only male or female, they place an impossible burden on the judiciary." End quote. Did I read that accurately?
I do not know because I don't have the article in front of me.
Well, I do. You also said in that article, quote, your words, not mine, "Sex has countless natural permutations," end quote. Did I read that correctly?
I believe that is consistent with medical science and under the Daubert standard, the science that comes in as expert testimony in trials.
On October 13, 2020, while you were serving as a state judge, you wrote an article for The Atlantic entitled, quote, your words, not mine, "America's judiciary doesn't look like America." And you criticized this committee and President Trump for his judicial nominees. You said, quote, these are your words, not mine, "The judiciary crafted over the past 4 years does not look like America. Not one of these judges is black, and more than 90% were raised or currently identify as Christians." I don't know how you knew that. And then you say, quote, your words, not mine, "Identity is the lens that filters everything and everyone we encounter." End quote. Did I read that correctly?
Again, I don't know because I don't have the article in front of me.
I got it right here. You wrote another article on July 31, 2020 for the San Francisco Daily Journal, in which you advocate for the right of sitting judges to be able to go to protests, didn't you?
That is incorrect.
No, it's not. I'm looking at it right here. This is what you say. No judge should be ethical. Your words, not mine. You just said you didn't say them. You turned these articles over. No judge should be ethically constrained from speaking or taking action that reinforces that constitutional and moral imperative. May judges participate in demonstrations that denounce racism, support equal justice, and reinforce our constitutional rights to free speech and peaceable assembly? Yes. End quote. Did I read that correctly?
I don't know because I don't have the article in front of me.
If you're a federal judge, are you going to go to protests?
I would like to answer the substance of the underlying question that was asked.
I'd like you to answer my question. I've only got another minute or so. If you're a federal, let me put it another way. Have you ever gone to a protest, a public protest, while you're a sitting judge?
Senator Kennedy, the article that you are referring to
Have you ever
was
gone
written...
to a protest while you're a sitting judge?
I do not believe that I have ever attended a protest as a sitting judge, or perhaps ever in my life.
And you talk about Girls Inc. You say you've never heard of them. You were on the, or you don't know that much about them. You were on the board from 2014 to 2024. You're still on their board, aren't you?
I'm not. My term expired this last month.
And you've given them over $50,000, haven't you?
I do not believe that is correct.
That's what your report says. And this is the same Girls Inc. that says, quote, on its website, here's how they define girls. Quote, girls refers to gender-expansive youth, cis girls, trans girls, non-binary youth, gender and non-conforming youth, genderqueer youth, and any girl-identified youth. Did I read that correctly?
I don't know. I've never heard of that policy or that definition
Right.
from
Never heard
Girls
of
Inc.
Listen, in spite of your, can I just have 30 more seconds? In spite of your strongly held political beliefs, and we've got all of them, all your articles, they're as long as King Kong's are you telling us today, do you believe that you will not allow your strongly held political beliefs to influence your judicial opinions? Do you believe that?
The best evidence of the type of federal judge I will be,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
type of
Do you
judge,
believe that? Do you believe that?
is the type of judge I have been for 10 years, who is one who always puts the law above my personal
Do you
views.
also believe in Bigfoot? Do you believe in the Tooth Fairy?
Your time has expired, Senator.
Do you believe Jimmy Hoffa died of natural causes?
Senator Hirono.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
After watching the full exchange, I think Senator John Kennedy did exactly what people expect during a confirmation hearing. He asked hard questions and came prepared. What stood out immediately was that Kennedy had specific quotes and public statements ready to go. These weren't rumors or anonymous claims. These were published articles written while serving as a judge. So when the response kept being, "I don't have the article in front of me," you could feel Kennedy getting more frustrated. One of the biggest moments was the discussion about gender and biology. Kennedy questioned whether personal views on those issues could influence future rulings from the bench. Whether people agree with those opinions or not, his main point was clear. Federal judges should interpret the law, not push personal ideology. Then came the discussion about the judiciary under President Trump. Kennedy brought up statements criticizing the makeup of the courts based on race and religion. That opened a much bigger debate about whether judges should be viewed through identity politics or through their ability to follow the Constitution fairly and equally. The protest discussion was another major moment. Kennedy questioned whether judges should participate in political demonstrations at all. A lot of Americans believe judges should stay completely independent from activism, so you could see why he pushed hard on that issue. Then the hearing shifted to Girls Incorporated. Kennedy brought up the organization's policies and questioned how someone connected to the group for years could claim not to know about them. That exchange clearly caught people's attention. And of course, Kennedy's closing remarks instantly went viral. The Bigfoot and Tooth Fairy lines were classic John Kennedy. Sarcastic, sharp, and straight to the point. Some people will think he went too far, but others will say he was reacting to answers that didn't feel direct. At the end of the day, this hearing became about something bigger than one nominee. It became a debate about trust in the courts and whether politics and ideology are starting to influence the judiciary too much. No matter what side you're on, one thing is certain. Senator Kennedy asked questions that a lot of Americans were already thinking. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Did Kennedy expose real concerns, or was the hearing too aggressive? This is America Wake, I'm Wilson, and I'll see you in the next one.